Hey guys, this is Aggi, that's AGGI, with drums Bonedo, and in this video we'll take a look at the Alesis Strata Prime. Now this is a high-end electronic drum kit that comes with a sophisticated sound module with a touchscreen and a multi-core processor. The idea is to give you the realistic sound and flexibility of software solutions, and the module actually uses the engine of BFD, which is an absolute classic in virtual drum studios. Sounds interesting? Keep watching. First off, the Alesis Strata Prime is an incredibly complex instrument and there are a lot of details to talk about. In this video, I'll try to keep it simple. I'll give you a quick overview of the main aspects and then focus on my most important pros and cons with the least possible amount of blah blah. And of course, after that, I'll play something on the kit for you. Sounds cool? So let's go. The Alesis Strata Prime comes in a big configuration with a 20-inch kick, a 14-inch snare, 4 toms in 8, 10, 12, and 14, 2 16-inch crashes, a 14-inch hi-hat, and an 18-inch ride. So all sizes are comparable to real acoustic drums, but as you can see, Alesis is not really jumping on the full acoustic look trend. Only the bass drum is a full-size shell in 20 by 14, while all other drums are typical flat E-drum pads. So here's my pros about the hardware. First, the pads are great. Toms and snare are all dual zone and the module can additionally distinguish between rim clicks and rim shots. All cymbals, including hi-hats, are triple zone pads with bell bow and edge and 360 triggering, so this is all very nice. Second, the pads are all mounted on a heavy steel rack that feels really sturdy. And third, almost everything about the kit feels high-end. And that brings us to the cons. Yes, first, I said almost everything. The rack clamps are made of plastic and you really have to crank them to keep the pads in place while playing. And even after tightening the screws, the sound module can still be moved around pretty easily. Second, the kit comes without a kick pedal and a hi-hat stand, which is fine, but the hoop of the bass drum is so thin that I couldn't mount my pedal properly. I had to use a hoop protector from another kit. Why didn't they include one? I don't know. Next topic. The sound module. Now this module really is a small computer with a 10-inch touchscreen, a multi-core processor, 120 GB of storage with 40 gigs in use, and internal Wi-Fi for updates. It runs on the engine of the BFD software and it will go way beyond the standard features. Comparable modules are the one of the GEVA G9 and the Pearl Mimic Pro, which isn't available anymore. So here's my pros about the module. First, the internal mixer is a beast. Just like in the VST software, you get access to separate channels like kick in, kick out, snare top, snare bottom, overheads and room, and you can put up to 3 effects on each channel. Which brings us to second. The effects come directly from BFD and sound great. There are even 2 sends, which makes parallel compression inside a module possible. So this is an amazing feature, and here are my cons. First, the module should have more outputs. Besides the headphone output, there's a main out and 2 more stereo outs, and that's it. Second, the routing is pretty inflexible. The stereo outs are supposed to be used as stereo outs only and not as dual mono outputs, for example for kick and snare. That's how most people I know do it on stage. Third, the module offers MIDI over USB but no audio over USB, so you can forget about recording single tracks and mixing later on. Not possible. Fourth, the effects are amazing, but they don't have graphic user interfaces. All you can do is tweak cryptic parameters and thereby rely on your ears. And that will feel difficult for everyone without a lot of mixing experience. Moving on to the next topic, triggering. Now there's only one pro and one con here. Pro. After using the tool for crosstalk suppression and after adjusting a few velocity curves, the triggering works kind of okay for me. I'm sorry, but that's the pro. And con, latency. Just like the old Alesis Strike Pro, the Strata Prime has an internal latency of around 13 milliseconds, which makes the playing feel kind of indirect. In 13 milliseconds, sound travels roughly 4 meters in the air, so it will feel like you're sitting 4 meters away from your kit. Not everyone will feel that, but many will. Next aspect, the sounds, and I'm happy to say that these are mostly great. The module comes with 75 kits and over 440 instruments. The library is divided into 4 parts: acoustic drums, percussion, electronic drums, and the additional Dark Farm library that was released as an add-on pack for BFD. I got only pros here. First, and that's a big one, detail. The acoustic instruments are highly detailed multisamples that can compete with software solutions. This means a lot of dynamic variation and virtually no machine gunning. This is great. Second, the basic sounds are processed in such a way that they sound punchy, but you can still tweak them in the mixer. The BFD library sounds a bit less shiny than the basic library. That's a huge bandwidth. Now these were only factory kits without a lot of tweaking. To show the power of the internal effects, I made 3 mixes of one kit and recorded them separately, and in the next part I'll switch between those mixes, a flat and dry mix, a roomy mix, and a crushed mix, of course. And yes, having this kind of flexibility to sculpt the sound really is amazing. So let's wrap it up. The Alesis Strata Prime seems super promising at first glance, but if you take a closer look, you'll find quite a few issues that put a damper on things. The build quality is totally high-end, the rack is heavy and sturdy, but those cheap plastic rack clamps are kind of killing the vibe. The triggering is okay, especially with crosstalk suppression, but that high latency is a real downer. The internal mixer has a lot of channels, which is fantastic, but the module itself only offers a minimum of outputs, inflexible routing, and no audio over USB. Internal effects processing is amazing, but the layout is very confusing for people who don't have a degree in audio engineering. The good news is that the Alesis Strata Prime has tons of detailed and realistic sounds that make some big-name brands look kinda pale. In that aspect, it can definitely compete with eDrum kits that cost more than twice as much. So are the issues I was talking about a deal breaker? You decide. And that's all I have. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe. If you want to buy the kit, you can use the affiliate link below. Bye.